hopefully, cross my fingers, doesn't burn my house down. Spent a little bit of time making this place. Little bends in my wires here, so they compact back in there nice and neat. I think that is almost all of the outlets and light switches. I didn't do the upstairs bathroom, which has, I think, 3 outlets and 2 light switches. And I didn't do the laundry room here, which has, along with the washer dryer plug and the hot water heater plug, 2 outlets of others. There's like 4 outlets in there and 2 light switches. Not too much left to do. I didn't do those 2 rooms because I've still got putty work to do and texture and all that. I did do my master bathroom before I thought about the fact that I've still got to do putty work and texture work and all that in there. So I'll have to put some tape over those fixtures, those little outlet covers and light switches. Keep them from getting too dirty and nasty. I'm kind of jumping around right now, guys. I ran out of putty, but I don't feel like going into town and getting more because the good old big box home store is about 50 minutes away, one way 50 minutes away. And I've got a slight problem with my truck right now. I'll walk you out there and show you what it is. For those of you that are new to the channel, the truck I've got is a 97 Ford F-250 4-wheel drive turbo diesel. It's got the 7.3 diesel in it. It's got about 192,000 miles on it, so it's not too bad. It's a good truck. The problem started, what, 5 months ago? I think 5 months ago. I put new front leaf springs in this truck. The leaf springs were really wore out. I only had about 1/4 inch to maybe 3/8 of an inch of suspension travel before the leaf springs would hit the bump stops, the rubber stops in there. So it was riding pretty rough going up and down this dirt road. And it wasn't, it's not good to run wore out leaf springs. So I was looking into putting some leaf springs under it, went and bought those, put them in, no big deal. Set the truck down off the jack stands, and I noticed the front tires are leaning out at the top, pretty bad. So I was like, well, I'll take it in, get an alignment real quick, and it'll fix it. Took it into town, got an alignment, go to pick it up. Tires are still leaning out at the top. Go in and talk to the guys and say, you know, it's not really done. Well, that's the best we can do. There's no more adjustment. You're gonna have to figure out something. We don't know what's wrong with it. It's maxed out. So I start reading forums online, and I wasn't driving the truck a whole lot from here to town, maybe once a week, get supplies and stuff to work on the house. But it's wearing out the front tires pretty bad. Even though the toe on the alignment is good, it's still wearing out the front tires pretty bad. The best I could find online was the independent front suspension that this truck has is kind of garbage. I don't like the way it's designed. I've done body work all my life. I've worked on cars all my life. I don't like the way this front end independent suspension is designed. And nobody rants and raves about it. A lot of guys actually take the independent front suspension out and put a solid axle out of a Ford F-350 underneath it. Now the F-350 and the F-250, if they're both diesels, they both came with 410 gears for the most part, the majority of them. I'm sure there's a few that came with different ones. But it's an easy swap to do because both trucks have leaf springs. It's basically a bolt-in application. So I start searching around looking for a front axle, a solid front axle out of an F350. Come to find out, the solid axle out of an F350 from, well, I was looking from 93 to 97, it's a Dana 60. If you know anything about rock crawling, the Dana 60 is what everybody seems to want. So they're really hard to come by and really expensive when you find one. If you find one through traditional ways, like a used, a junkyard or a used car lot, whatever you want to, wherever you want to go to find parts, they're expensive because they're a sought after front end. I found one, it took a while, but I found one through a bunch of different friends that I had looking for me. $1,300. $1,300 is more than I want to spend on the front end to this truck right now or anytime. Holy moly. That's my cat up on top of my woodshed. I'm guessing she jumped from that tree over to there, and I don't know how she's going to get back. But I guess that's her problem. So back to the truck. I would like to put a solid front axle underneath this truck at some point, but I'm not really willing to spend $1,300 on one. I would rather go find a truck in somebody's field that has a solid front end underneath it. Maybe the truck doesn't run, has a blown motor, blown tranny. Maybe the truck burnt down, but the axle's still good. Get the whole truck out of the field, pull the front axle out of it, and then take the rest of the truck down to the junkyard and get rid of it however I can. $1,300 is a bit much for me to spend on this truck right now. So what I figured out after talking to a bunch of different people is that I can buy a piece of a lift kit that goes in the center to drop the center bolts of this adjustable front end, or this independent front suspension. It drops the center bolts down. This is the bolt that needs to drop down. There's one here, and there's one on the other side for this side that adjusts. These bolts need to drop down about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, to kick the tires out so that it'll pass alignment. So it's this piece of this lift kit that I purchased for $140 that's going to bolt right in there, fix my alignment problem, and then it allows me to look for that solid front axle in my own time. I can drive around, see if I can see a truck just sitting around, get one that way, a lot cheaper than going to a used car lot, or not a used car lot, but a junkyard that knows what they have. It's a Dana 60. Not that I'm trying to rip anybody off, I'm just trying not to spend a whole bunch of money. I'm not trying to build a rock crawler. I'm not trying to spend a whole bunch of money. So maybe someday I'll get a live axle, solid axle underneath the front end of this truck. But for now, I'm waiting on that bracket so I can put it in, get another alignment, and then I can drive this truck to town. I have my siding waiting for me down at the home store. I need to get more putty for the drywall. I got to get a couple of other odds and ends, but I don't want to drive to town in the truck. So it is what it is. Hopefully this comes in pretty quick. I seem to be popular right now. But I'm going to get back inside and do a little bit more work before the sun goes down. Hopefully this bracket comes in the next couple days. I can fix my truck, get a good alignment on it so I'm not wearing out the new tires that I have to buy for it. Take it easy, guys. Until next time, go make something.